What is up, everybody? So right now we're going to be comparing the iPhone 8 versus the iPhone 10 in 2018. Now both these phones are one of the newer iPhones that Apple has made, and there's already been tons of comparisons, but I just kind of want to see how they basically compare now. A couple months later, iOS 12 betas are about to come out, so let's see, looking towards the future of both these phones, which one you should consider. Should you save some money and get the iPhone 8, or should you spend some more money and get the iPhone 10? Now, I'll tell you right now, in terms of the body, they're completely different. There's no secret about it. The iPhone 10 basically is all screen, no bezel except the notch. But looking at the iPhone 8, we pretty much have the old legacy design of the iPhone 6. And they really didn't change it too much except the glass back. Obviously, it's not the iPhone 6, it's much better in specs and everything, but you still have the fingerprint sensor on the iPhone 8, where the iPhone 10 you only have Face ID. And at this point, Face ID is the future. I don't know if they're going to put an in-screen fingerprint sensor, but I definitely do appreciate the fingerprint sensor on my 7 Plus. Now the screens are completely different too. We actually have the first AMOLED screen on an iPhone on the iPhone 10, and it's 5.8 inches versus the IPS panel on the iPhone 8, which is 4.7 inches, and the iPhone 10 blows it out of the water. And that's kind of the same thing that goes with every single category. The iPhone 10 pretty much blows the iPhone 8 out of the water in terms of performance, in terms of cameras, in terms of everything. They both have the Apple A11 chip, but the iPhone 10 does have an extra gigabyte of RAM, so you'll be able to actually hold more apps in the background. This is a small one, but the iPhone 10 is kind of clocked a little bit higher with its hexa-core processor. Now, gaming and everything is going to be fine on both. The iPhone 10 probably does have the advantage here, but at the same time, because the iPhone 8 screen isn't clocked higher, I do think maybe you will kind of have better frame rates on the iPhone 8 because they both kind of have the same specs, but at the same time, I do think the iPhone 10 is a little bit more powerful. And as more time progresses, more apps are going to be supported for the iPhone 10. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see for the future. But one thing I want to note, the iPhone 10 didn't start off getting iOS 11, the base one. It started off getting iOS 11.1.1 versus the iPhone 8 that got iOS 11. So in terms of future updates, I actually don't know if the iPhone 10 is going to get an extra year of support than the iPhone 8, or if it's going to get the same software updates. Because technically it started off getting updates further, so would it stop like at the iOS X.1.1 or something? I don't know. Now both cameras are actually very, very good. The iPhone 10, however, just seems much more better for me. I'm looking at the specs, you would think they're kind of the same, and they are. It's not like a night and day difference. And in terms of shooting videos and everything, they both seem to shoot the same type of qualities and everything. So we have very good camera sensors on both. So really there's not too much of a comparisons here. I do think the iPhone 10 does have portrait mode, and it does have dual camera setup, where the iPhone 8 does not. So if you're into portrait mode and all those different iPhone 10 options, then that might be important to you. Now battery life is kind of interesting as well. So the iPhone 10 has a 2716 mAh battery, the iPhone 8 has a 1821 mAh battery, and I always found that the iPhone 10 does have pretty good battery life. And I do think overall it is better than the iPhone 8, but some contradictions with that would probably be the iPhone 8 screen isn't as powerful. It isn't as big, and it's not clocked higher. So you do have to kind of consider that when you're considering both of these phones. Yes, the iPhone 10 does have a better battery size, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has better battery life. But in my usage, I did kind of see that the iPhone 10 does have overall better battery life than the iPhone 8. Now some other things to note, both these phones do not have headphone jacks. That bothers a lot of people. It doesn't really bother me, so I'm not really even worried about it at all. Both these phones do have wireless charging, so that's super cool. The iPhone 10, like I said, does not have a fingerprint sensor at all. It only has Face ID. So whether you want to go with that route or you want to go with a fingerprint sensor route probably determines which phone you're going to get. And both these phones do have glass backs, so if you drop it or anything, in my opinion, glass backs are just one more thing to break. So yeah, which one should you get in 2018? And honestly, I kind of think that the iPhone 10 would probably be the best way to go. I think they're overpriced. I would definitely recommend getting them used, even though I had a nightmare with my used iPhone 10. I would still highly recommend getting an iPhone 10 because that's the future. That's the way phones are going. And if you want to stick with that, fingerprint sensor, then go for it. I don't know if the next iPhone is going to have it inbuilt fingerprint sensor. It might, but I don't want to put money on it yet. The iPhone 8 is a tremendous phone as well, but I do think that the iPhone 10 is just overall better. And I would highly recommend getting one, either used or new or whatever. I'll leave links in the description if you want to pick either an iPhone 10 or an iPhone 8. The iPhone 8 isn't a horrible phone either. Like I say all the time, if the iPhone 10 was 100%, the iPhone 8 would probably be an 85, it would probably be an 80%. I just don't really like the design of the iPhone 8. It seems kind of old to me. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still doing the iPhone 6s and iPhone SE giveaway on this channel, and in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are down in the description, so make sure you enter. There's a link in the description of a video I did explaining more about the giveaway, so make sure you check that out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.